Becky, who's calling me because she had the calling card, and she said, listen, I stalked Mr. Hart. You better be careful what you do on the road. They may have a blanket party with you, where they take you out of the van, cover you in, and beat you up. I go, the true story. I says, you reassure Mr. Hart, and you let them know that if anything like that happens, there's going to be 2 to 3 of them with their throats ripped out, just like you see in the movie Roadhouse. But this is real. So you let them know I'm going to be okay. They're in the van, and they're doing these phony award toasts, where somebody would say, oh, yeah, one will toast another. They'll bang the roof of the van, and then somebody will accept the award. They bang the roof of the thing. Well, I think it was Johnny Holiday in the back said, we're giving him a hard time, but I saw him down there. He's as big as Lex Luger, without 2 left feet. You really take a different thing to whatever. And now here, I remember Carl Moffat sitting next to me, looks at me. He goes, well, what do you say, Brick? And here again, I couldn't just take it. I said, well, all I have to say is I believe that Mr. Stu Hart would not appreciate you people banging the roof of his van. And there was a collective like, oh, how much more can he now? What's he going to do? Now we're back in town. And I remember the 2 of them, the British Bulldogs. You can't touch Bruce. That's Helen's Bambi. That's where that whole, I knew his nickname, but you can't touch Bruce. That's Helen's Bambi. But you got to do something to Pillman. Got to do something to Pillman. Apparently there was heat there with them and whatever. I went into the dressing room. Dynamite got there late. The British Bulldog was there. By the way, that's the only time the Bulldogs came to the Calgary on a Friday night after they went to the New York office. Whether they were in town or not, they never came to the TV tapings. They were only here for this thing. What ended up happening, and now we're spilling everything that from there. I came in, it's like, okay, I guess they're looking for a show. I told Bruce off, and he just kept avoiding me. Because he would walk away from me telling him everything you're doing, you have no respect for your father, I can't believe the way you treat him, blah, blah, blah. Carl Moffat, I says, these people treat you like idiots. You're the only one. I'm the only one that was your friend. Whether he wants to admit it or not, he cried. And I turned around, and there's Pillman. I never struck anybody first in my life. I wasn't going to punch somebody. And I slapped him. He looked both ways. He didn't seem to do anything. I turned away, and he fucking clocked me. And I understand. I remember Davey Boy Smith standing right there. He goes, Pillman had all his rings taken off. He liked his jewelry. He goes, but when you started arguing with Bruce, he put his rings back on. Just going with what I heard. And it hit me. It's like, whoa. Boom, 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 boom. And then he like whatever it was with the hits, and he rushed me like a football thing. Well, I can say I never struck anybody to initiate a fight. It was the closest time I ever had to losing a fight. I never brought this up anymore because the guy passed away. And to jump ahead in the story, Tarantino it again. When he came back from Cincinnati after the torn tricep, we were like asshole buddies. Bruce was no longer in charge, and we would be at the mini march. Do you want anything? Now I'll walk in with you. It was okay. Everything was fine. Back to the story. He rushes me. If he didn't have a head of hair on him, I'd have never made it. All I knew how to do is just grab his hair, his head, and get his flailing arms away from me. He ran out of steam running me through these chairs in that dressing room there. Now everybody's piled in watching. And I'm on my ass on the floor with my legs spread. His legs are spread-eagled. And I got the back of his head. Now the punching stopped because he can't reach my face. I head-butted his head on the floor a couple times. Didn't do anything. Now at some point he reaches up. And that's where the whole story, I heard he took an eye out. No, he tried to. This eye. It came down, I held his tongue in the mouth. I held his middle finger in my mouth. I reached down and I ripped his shorts off. Again, now he's done. He's not doing it still. He's a bull. If I stop now, he's just going to get up. Well, my legs were between his legs, and the truth of the matter is, I kicked him square in the balls. Didn't do anything. I kicked him again, and the oomph went out of him. He slumbered back, stood up. I came up real quick, squared off, had his pants on. He goes, I've had enough of this shit. He leaves. There's Becky Wentz out there. And she's laughing. Goes, you shouldn't be laughing. Goes, your boy didn't end up any better than I did. So call it whatever you want. I spoke to Becky just a week ago. She didn't know he died. And she goes, oh, he was a cocky jerk. I said, yeah, but he died. He goes, oh, I'm sorry I said that then. He goes, and at the end I joked. And she goes, but he was. But the point is, I says, we got along after that. She never knew that we got along after that.